less than I am at the game, at least initially, because I don't play it that much. Used to play it a ton back in the days, but it's a real interesting strategy type of process, right? It's a thinking process. And the same with trading. You have to think about what Mr. Market might do. Is Mr. Market going to do X, Y, or Z? And if it does X, Y, or Z, then I'm going to do A, B, and C. And you have your plan. Let's talk about the 7DT strategy here. I want to point out the benefits of this 7DT strategy in a market that is going down a lot or going up a lot. We have been doing this 7DT strategy for 17 months in a row. If you take that and you say what, 4 times 17, that's about 68 weeks in a row we have put on at least one 7DTE trade. And what I have been able to discover through those occurrences, to me, that's enough occurrences for this type of trade. For me to come to some conclusions. One of the conclusions I've come to is that this trade works in all different type of environments, and it works when the market is going down a lot. It works when the market is going up a lot. It works when the market is staying in a range. It works, and what we have been able to discover through my trading and through a lot of the members on this call and a lot of the members just period in the Dorian Trader is how to make the trade easier and make it as close to printing money as possible. But nothing is like printing money like the Fed. You're gonna have some hiccups, right? And even the Fed can have some hiccups if inflation gets out of hand. Right? It's hard to just throw endless money at something because inflation can get out of hand. And a lot of small countries out there that don't have the benefit of having the dollar as the world's currency, they have run into that, right? You don't have the ability to unlimitedly print your currency because inflation will put a hamper to that. So with the 7DT trade that we do, it's like printing money, but you do have some worries you have to consider. And so one of the worries is understanding what economic data is coming out and when that economic data is coming out and structuring your trade around that so it can give you the best opportunity to win as possible. So we talk about not having something that we consider a problem type of data that's coming out, some economic data, not making sure that's not between 2 DTE, 1 DTE, or 0 DTE. Those 3 days there, making sure it doesn't land on that so that you can have the ability to adjust the trade and still win. So if it's on the third day, that's okay. If it's on the fourth day to expiration, the fifth, sixth, seventh day, that's all fine. But it cannot be on day 2 DTE or 1 DTE or 0 DTE because that's where the most risks in the trade lies, is in that 2 DTE. So your decision making must be on point with this 2 DTE. And the decisions that you make could be good, better, and best, right? And you always want to give yourself at least two choices if you can. You want to give yourself two choices to choose from at least when you're making decisions on how to adjust a trade, how to maneuver a trade. And so for me, I always try to keep an exit point. Is meaning that, okay, this is, if I'm going to go with this decision, what is my uncle point? What is my exit point if that decision doesn't work out? What's my next move? It doesn't mean I'm going to quit when I say uncle. That's usually the term. So maybe I shouldn't say it. Maybe I shouldn't use that language. But at least the exit point of, okay, I'm losing this battle, but how can I win the war? How can I retreat a little bit to be able to win the war? And we can all kind of understand that analogy, is that just because you have lost a battle or two doesn't mean you're going to lose the war. And the key is understanding when is the time to retreat. When is the time to look for that exit point because it's getting too challenging, it's getting too difficult. And so every time I'm getting to a 2DT trade with the 7DT strategy, I'm constantly trying to think what is the best decision to make when I adjust this. And if I'm wrong, what is my next move? Some of you have heard me talk about chess, the game chess, is how the best players can see several moves in advance, right? They can see it before it happens, and then they know what they're going to do. And so for me, being an amateur chess player, I can still, see two moves ahead, or I can, speculate what the at least two moves ahead is going to be. And so that helps me beat people who are less than I am at the game, at least initially, because I don't play it that much. Used to play it a ton back in the days, but it's a real interesting strategy type of process, right? It's a thinking process. And the same with trading. You have to think about what Mr. Market might do. Is Mr. Market going to do X, Y, or Z? And if it does X, Y, or Z, then I'm going to do A, B, and C. And you have your plan. And we point this plan out. We give you the framework, we give you the structure in the 7DT course. And you have to study it. And you're going to hear me, kind of drill this home constantly. You have to study it until you can teach it. And when you can teach it, then you're going to know it well enough. And then you're going to be able to, at that point, step outside of the framework. A really good teacher can look at the math lesson, and they've done this math lesson constantly, and they can figure out how to step outside of the lesson a little bit to be able to help students be able to understand what they're trying to learn, in a different way, to grasp it in a different way. So with the 7DT trade, I encourage you to go through the process, learn how to put the trade on. That's the first part, and be able to do it fast. It shouldn't take you long to put the trade on. And then understand how to read the trade, to understand what's going on with it fast, right? Do I need to take this trade off? Do I need to adjust this trade? Do I need to do, if I have to adjust it, do I need to do a defensive adjustment, a proactive adjustment? Is it in the green zone, yellow zone, red zone? You should be able to, instantaneously be able to see these things by reading your portfolio. And then the most difficult part is that step 3 is understanding how to adjust it. How to adjust and keep your ammunition for the best time, or the best adjustment to help you the most. You don't want to use up all your ammunition in the first few rounds, or use up all your energy, using a boxing analogy, in the first few rounds, and you got a 12 round fight, right? If you come out just swinging crazy and use up all your energy, you're going to most likely get knocked out, because you're way too tired. You didn't have the right strategy. You just went out guns blazing. Same with this type of trade. You need to pace yourself, understand the strategy that you're using when you're adjusting. Proactive standalone roll up, proactive roll away, proactive adjustment, adding contracts, defensive adjustment, right? So, and then the step 4 thing you want to learn with this trade is just how to take it off. Do I take it off as an iron condor? Do I take it off as a put spread only, or a call spread only? Do I take off just the short legs? Do I let one part of the trade go to expiration and expire? Those are decisions of taking it off, right? Do I take off the trade at a certain profit level that I was originally wanting, or something more than what I was originally wanting? Or do I take off it for break even, or a little less than break even? How do I decide to take this trade off? Very, very important. We were talking about earlier, sometimes you can get into a trade, and you're fixated on getting out at a certain number, and the trade is hovering around that number. It's not at that number yet, so it's not going to trigger the fill order, and you're out of the trade with the profit level that you wanted, but it's around there. And so we get stuck on that, and then it never actually hits that number, and then it goes in the opposite direction, and you've lost your opportunity to exit a trade. We Sometime trying to get an extra few dollars it can be damaging to us, not only from the win and loss column, but from buying power column, from just exhaustion of being in a trade, your mental state and things like that. So for me, you guys, you've seen me with the 7DT trade, and you definitely seen me with the 1DT trade. I will take a $1 profit. I would take it in a heartbeat to avoid the trade getting into a problem, and understanding that the next several trades I might not have any issues. We went 23 trades in a row without losing with that 1DT trade, and so right now we're in a 1DT trade is a little challenging. Okay? And so I understand that if I'm able to get out of the trade with a break even, then I'm going to do that, because I know I can probably go another 23 times in a row without any issues. It's not about this one trade. And that's the same kind of what when I drill on with the 7DT strategy that we're talking about, is that most weeks you're going to be able to win if you learn the course, and you're able to teach it, and you know the framework around it, right? You know the cadence of the trade, the rhythm of the trade, then you're going to be able to make money consistently. It's going to feel like you're printing money week after week. I went 54 weeks in a row without losing, and then I've lost, but I haven't lost since March. So I'm on another huge streak, and it's because of the decisions that is being made within the framework. And so keep printing money. When the trade gets easy, or excuse me, when the trade gets difficult, I'm gonna get out of it. Like we're in a trade right now, the 70T trade right here on this Thinkorswim platform here. You can see that right now this trade is going fairly well, and we've been in it for one day. Right, we're up $90. You can see we're trying to get out at 45. But you can argue that we should be looking to ring the register now if we think this market is uncertain based on the move that happened yesterday when we had at one point a five standard deviation move. That kind of stuff you should be able to say, oh man, why did we have that? We didn't have it because of any particular reason that would warrant that. We just woke up, and next thing you know, we just kept getting worse yesterday. It just kept getting worse, and we still don't have a real good explanation for it.